Here's Graham.
Favourite Exceptional Beauty running in a brown jacket white sash through the first furlong. Alarm call next to the rails, up on the outside of these main reason. And Exceptional Beauty, Beijing, and up with a pace. That's Your Lot, and That's Your Lot now has come through to settle the issue as to who leads for the first furlong. Goes on by a length. From Mr. Point racing second, Beijing racing third, Island set four, Seronicos 5. Behind these comes Benisa Rider in 6. And at this stage, favourite mid-division with towards the rear, little Egret. But it's That's Your Lot who leads, setting quite a sensible pace. To Mr. Point in second place, racing third is Seronicos, 4 next to the rails is Beijing. Then Benisa Rider makes ground on the outside of little Egret, who's made up quite a bit of ground from the start. Senor Thomas, Richard Bearline snapping the Guardian, mid-division halfway. That's Your Lot in the lead from Mr. Point in second, Seronicos third, down towards the halfway stage. Little change up front, and still That's Your Lot who leads. From Mr. Point second, Seronicos racing third. Behind these comes Benisa Rider. Then making ground, Sprowston Boy, little Egret just in behind these. Then Dual Venture, Island set next to the rails. Making ground on the inside is Exceptional Beauty. Towards the rear is Fleeting Affair. Milton Burn mid-division. Western Dancer starts to improve. But That's Your Lot next to the rails, Mr. Point, and up on the outside of these racing Sprowston Boy. Then Seronicos and Beijing, Benisa Rider and 5 Farthings. And Western Dancer and Island set next to the rails, Exceptional Beauty. And now Mr. Point goes on as they level up for home, just over 4 to race. Mr. Point, Seronicos and Benisa Rider, then Sprowston Boy and 5 Farthings. That's Your Lot gives way, Island set starts to improve. Beijing in the hoop sleeve starts to motor 2. With just over 3 to go, Mr. Point gets a reminder as Seronicos in the blue jacket comes to dispute it with Sprowston Boy. And just over 2.5 to go, 5 Farthings comes out of the pack too, and the 4 in line at the lead of the field with 2 to go in the William Hill November Handicap. A 5 Farthings, Sprowston Boy, Seronicos, and next to the rails, Mr. Point. Behind these, here comes Dual Venture and Tony Murray, the horse with a noseband, Jockey in the blue jacket. Tony's last ride throws down the challenge to 5 Farthings who leads. 5 Farthings from Beijing and Dual Venture, and inside the final furlong it's Beijing with the hoop sleeves, 5 Farthings with the check jacket. Behind these Dual Venture, and after these comes Sprowston Boy, and it's Beijing who asserts for inside the final half furlong. Beijing goes up towards the line, Beijing by a length. Beijing the winner, 5 Farthings second, Dual Venture third, Sprowston Boy 4, Fleeting Affair 5, and then behind these came little Egret, followed by Avic Pubby, then Milton Burn, Senor Thomas, Folk Dance, Runner Pratap, Alarm Call, Island Set, Varadi, Seronicos towards the rear, main reason. Also in arrears was Mr. Point, who showed up early, and the early leader, That's Your Lot, finished last of all. And so the result of this, the William Hill November Handicap, a win for number 18, Beijing, owned by Binfield Manor Farms. Trained advantage by Paul Cole and ridden by Richard Quinn, so a double for them on William Hill November Handicap Day, and at 16 to 1 has rewarded her supporters in style. Richard Quinn really had to go to work in the final half furlong as the challengers claimed thick and fast. I thought for one glorious moment Tony Murray was going to bow out on a winner with Dual Venture. He throws down a challenge. At this stage he's not in the picture. It's Sprowston Boy in the red jacket from 5 Farthings, who comes through to take up the running with 2.5 to go.
They actually went a stronger pace than I anticipated. I did feel there might not be a good gallop, and that's obviously suited the winner Beijing, who's been intelligently ridden in as much as she's been up with the pace, and she's a stayer, and her stamina wins the day, because at this point, with about 2 to go, Walter Swinburne really sweeps to the front on 5 Farthings, and you'd think the momentum of that run would carry him to victory. Sprowston Boy's still there with 2 to go, so too Seronicos, who's been up there all the way, and on the rails, Mr. Point fading out. Dual Venture comes on the outside, Rana Pratap flatters briefly for a minute, but perhaps doesn't see out the trip in this ground, and then Beijing, who's been switched off the rails, slowly but surely renews her challenge, and it's a question of whether 5 Farthings can last out. Now Walter Swinburne goes for the whip, and you can see she's suddenly, from going really well, she's a tiring filly. Beijing didn't have her acceleration, or the acceleration of 5 Farthings, over 2 out when that filly quickened, but she's worn her down inside the final furlong. Richard Quinn, you see there, pulls his stick through, puts it down, because he knows he's won. Nothing's going to come from behind in this ground, and his filly runs on really well to win in game fashion. 5 Farthings being eased down now, he's going to hold on to second. Dual Venture comes on the outside, and Sprowston Boy has run a very good race to finish 4th. Those 4 seem clear.